Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Zmore, the dad in DPS, and today we've got a new thing that I'm wanting to maybe turn into a series that I'm going to call This Week in the Wasteland. So essentially what this is going to be is just a brief rundown of what's been going on in Fallout 76 throughout the week. There is a decent amount of news, and we do have the Atomic Shop update today. So I'll be going into that, and then into the big news about, what's been going on, or rather what will be going on. So before we get into that, don't forget to leave a like, a comment and subscribe as usual. I really appreciate it, and it really helps the channel, helps motivate me, and helps me keep making videos for entertaining all of you guys. So the first bit of news is going to be about the Atomic Shop update. So we've got a bunch of different things that have unlocked essentially, and the sports bundle is pretty much all the things that you can see here combined into the one bundle. So the first thing we've got is the umpire outfit. Now it's it's not the coolest looking thing. I'm not a big fan of it personally. I'm wondering if you can wear anything underneath that umpire mask, because that would be pretty interesting if you can get like some sort of mask or gas mask or like bandanas, all that kind of thing under there. The armor itself, not the helmet, does actually look pretty cool. I do like it, but the helmet just ruins it for me personally. But that is very much my opinion. Next up we have the Grafton Monster mascot outfit. Now this one I actually like. I think it's pretty cool. It's like an evil sack boy, basically, is all I can see. Literally all I see is Sackboy with weird teeth, but it's pretty cool. I do like it. I think we're going to see a lot of these running around the wasteland like we do with most of the mascot outfits and weird heads. The next one is Stanley, which is a Grognak axe skin that turns basically a hockey stick and a trophy combined with a load of barbed wire and rope and all sorts of horrible crap into a weapon. Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion if you made something like this in real life, it would break within a couple of swings. But, it definitely fits the theme of sports. As you can guess, I'm not particularly great at sports, and I don't like them. But yeah, not really the kind of bundle I would recommend. The next one is the sports wallpaper. So if you're into that kind of, it's a very on point look for a certain style of camp for definite. It's got those kind of old fashioned imagery like you see on magazines and posters and things like that, so it does definitely have a stylistic quantity to it, but I'm just not a big fan personally of that look. The next is a loot bag, which is the bowling bag. This actually is okay. There's a lot of loot bags in game that I think do it better though. There's like the Raider one that's like a little skull with a little flag and things like that. I don't see myself using this personally. And then we have the Sports Nostalgia photo frame. And if you're a big fan of taking photos in game, yeah, this is definitely something that you would probably pick up. I personally think that the bundle itself, I don't know that I would particularly go for it on my own, if I'm honest. It doesn't scream me. Oh, I forgot the Wiffle Bat skin. Obviously you've got that there. It's just basically a plastic baseball bat type crappy skin. We don't really have Wiffle Bats in the UK. We have those bats, but I don't think we call them Wiffle Bats. I could be wrong. But that's pretty much what's in there today. We've got a free item on the camp section, and that is the classic Deathclaw Easter egg. So obviously Easter's coming up, so we have the Deathclaw Easter egg available this year, and a bunch of stuff still available that have been there for a couple of weeks, but definitely pick up the Easter egg if you don't have it already. Let's check if there's any new skins. Nothing particular that I'm seeing that's not been sitting there already. Apparel. I don't believe the Drifter outfit was on, so that's came back on this week, along with the clean chalet outfit, which only has 23 hours to go, so make sure you pick that up if you've been waiting for it. And then we have the Mothman Hunter outfit. The one, I've been looking for one that's it's a Raider outfit, and it's got like a hoodie kind of type thing for it, but it never seems to appear whenever I'm looking, which is a shame. We unfortunately don't have anything new for Fallout First, and here's all the bundles that are currently available. So the spring bundle is back on. We also have the Raider bundle on here as well, and then we've got the Slocum Joe's bundle, Flyboy bundle, and the Bunker bundle that don't currently have end dates on them, so they should be here for a while. I don't know if maybe they've been added on for a semi-permanent basis, but we will have to see. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about the Atomic Shop today, and let's move on to the real news. So the big news, or rather, it would have been big news a couple of days ago. If you've seen any other channels, you'll already be maybe up to date on this, but I want to give my 2 cents on it. So as you can see, they are dividing up this year into 4 segments: spring, summer, fall, and winter. For spring, we've got Locked and Loaded. Next after that, we have Steel Rain in the summer, Worlds Are Changing in the fall, and Tales from the Stars in the winter. Now, obviously with each one of these there is a season change, so there's going to be a load of extra stuff coming up, so that is something that's very interesting in terms of what content we're going to get this year. Now we'll start off obviously with spring and Locked and Loaded. Now there's a couple of different things that are on here, and 2 of them are 100% something I'm looking forward to. So first off, there is the Daily Ops expansion. Now this is going to be most likely the different playable modes for Daily Ops. If you've been aware of what's going on with them in general, it's a case of there's meant to be different modes with different mission kind of criteria. So for example, at the moment you capture points and then defend them and then eventually beat a big boss. It'll be something similar but to a different extent. We might also get different enemies, and obviously we are going to get different locations, so it adds a huge amount of flavour towards Daily Ops and the potential for that. I do find Daily Ops pretty damn fun, so I am looking forward to that very much. Now the next one is Special Loadouts. In terms of that obviously means that we are going to be able to swap our special stats around without spending all of our hard-earned levels. That is a game changer. It means that you can run multiple different builds on the one character. All you need to do is get the relevant perks. It does have a little downside of your legendary perks don't always transfer very well into each individual build. So for example, a sneak build has very specific perks that benefit it. Melee build has very specific perks that benefit that, and so on and so forth. So the main barrier between your builds being complete when it comes to the special loadouts is actually the legendary perks and the perk coins that you need to get in order to unlock them. Now the last one, or rather the first one on the screen, which is not as important to me personally, but there is camp slots. Now I'm not 100% certain on that, but judging by how that usually works when it says slots, it likely means that you can have multiple different camp builds per character, and you can go to your camp and load up specific kind of things. I could be wrong with that. I definitely could be wrong with that, but I can't think of anything else that would make sense personally. So that does add, again, another extra amount of flavour where you don't have to have a billion different characters with a billion different things unlocked in order to create different camps. So I'm looking forward to that as well, because it means I can play around with things and, you know, potentially have multiple different camps with different setups and different locations. Well, maybe not different locations, but yeah, you know what I mean. It's definitely an interesting one. Now, the next section we've got is the summer. Now, this is the part that I'm probably the most excited about, because my head's running wild with what it could mean. So first off, we have the legendary crafting. Now, that could mean anything. It could be that we're getting new legendaries that we're going to be able to craft, or we can craft anything into a legendary. So anything you've got a plan unlocked for could potentially be turned into a legendary. If this is true, and that is the case, it reduces the rarity of the Brotherhood of Steel daily ops weapons significantly, but it also means that you can actually get them for once. It's the biggest problem with how it currently is that you cannot get these kind of weapons. It also then means that you will be able to craft legendary fixers. So that is going to open up a whole world of pain for bosses and things like that, and people are going to be able to get the weapons that they want. Don't get me wrong, you still have to go through the rigmarole of RNG of crafting them using the legendary modules and things like that, but that opens up a huge mess of things that I can play with and mess around with that I don't need to spend absolute decades grinding for and trying to get. The next one is terrifying. Legendary power armor. Now, the question really becomes, is the power armor going to have legendary perks that are exactly the same as your standard armor sets, or is there going to be power armor specific legendary effects? I would lean more towards the second one. I'd expect that the power armor legendary effects are going to be each and their own, and it's not going to be a case of everyone matches up. Don't get me wrong, you might still get the different perks that you get on your regular armor, but for the most part I'm hoping that they're specific to power armor and it adds a bit more flavour. And for example, weight is a big thing for power armor in my opinion, because you can't carry more than an unyielding set. Having maybe an unyielding power armor set would be insanely good for carry weight. It would be a complete game changer for wandering around the wasteland. It would make legendary armor worth carrying around for everybody. It could be anything really. It could be that your movement speed, there's so many things it could be, and my head is completely buzzing. If you've got any ideas of what you'd like to see or what you think is going to be the effects for the legendary armor, definitely post them down in the comments. I'm really looking forward to that in general, because I don't use power armor at the moment, especially not on my unyielding characters, for the specific reason that it's just not worth it. Now, the fall. Oh, actually, I should probably comment on the little plus bits. So on the summer, the one that I see is unlimited ranks. Now, what I think this means is for seasons, after you finish the season, you don't gain ranks. So you maybe get additional rewards each time you get a rank up again. So basically you could get to level 101, 102, 103, so on and so forth, and unlock certain rewards, maybe scrip, maybe bullion, maybe perk coins, who knows. That's definitely something to think about. And then on the first one, we've got crafting sliders, which I am not sure about at all. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's you slide it up and down, and whether the item's going to be legendary, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star. I don't know. I have no idea what crafting sliders even means. Camp mannequins are pretty self-explanatory. You're going to be able to put armor on mannequins at your camp, but we already know that's not going to be in your shelters, which is disappointing, to be honest. But yeah, on to fall. So fall, we get the next daily ops expansion. So this could come in a variety of different ways. It could be new enemies, new locations, new game mode again. I'm really not entirely certain about it. It's going to be a combination of those things. The one thing that I'm slightly worried about is that expeditions are not located anywhere on this, and I could have missed this news that maybe they've cancelled expeditions or they're knocking it back to next year, but by the looks of this, we're not getting expeditions until next year, very earliest, unless they obviously change this later on, which they have done in previous years multiple times. So take this whole thing with a pinch of salt to an extent. Things get pushed back quite often. But most of the stuff that's on here, I can't see as not being achievable, because for the most part, a lot of it is already either on the test server, or to an extent is just like flicking an on-off switch where it's just allowing you to craft things. So yeah, fall a little bit disappointing, but it just depends on essentially what the Daily Ops expansion number 1 and what the legendary crafting situation creates in terms of how often I'm getting something good, and I can use different things every day, that kind of thing. That's one of my big things about Fallout, is I enjoy experimenting and using different things, and the biggest problem I'm having at the moment is I'm not getting anything really that new. Now, we move on to winter, and we have, the first one's very interesting, 4-star legendaries. Now, the first thing with that is going to be, that means there's a whole load of new effects that are going to be coming into the game. I'm not sure the extent of what we're going to get and what's, going to be available, but I've seen some of the 4-star legendary effects. I can't remember if they were in Fallout 4 or not, but I remember looking at a bunch of the 4-star effects, and some of them are insane, some of them less so. It's like with anything, there's some effects that just you think, why would you put that into a game? It's just so broken. And others you're like, it's like Nocturnals. It's technically good at night and then absolutely garbage during the day. So you're going to see a lot of that, but we'll hopefully see something cool. Next is the seasonal event, the Ritual. Now this is going to be in regards to the Mothman cultists, which brings an interesting thought of, is this going to be like your Holiday Scorched event? But are we still going to get the Holiday Scorched event is a real question here. I'd assume so, because it's new stuff that it's using on here. But either way, if it's just basically another Holiday Scorch event, then it's going to be another set of little loot boxes that you open and then you get things. I'd be more interested if there is a Mothman boss, much like Earl or the Scorchbeard's Queen, where you just fight a giant, crazy Mothman. Maybe even one of the humanoid-looking ones that you see in the statues and things like that. That would be a pretty cool thing to see. Definitely be amazing to fight off a 30-foot humanoid moth. Just call it Mothra. But yeah, we'll probably get more information the closer that comes to the winter time, and it could, like some events, not even happen. The Halloween event, for example, was disappointing last year because it never happened and it got replaced by Fashnat for the billionth time. Now, the last thing on the list, apart from the plus, which we'll get into as well, is Invaders from Beyond, the public challenge and Daily Ops surprises. So, from what that just tells me is that there's going to be Zetans or aliens in the Daily Ops and in general wandering around the wasteland. It could be we have to kill a certain amount of aliens a day in order to unlock certain things. We maybe get alien camp items, alien skins for weapons, especially energy weapons. I'd assume you'd be able to get some pretty cool skins if you did it that way. So there's a lot of potential for that, and if they do it right, they could even have like a massive mothership flying around the wasteland that we have to attack or something like that. There's so many different things they could do. There's literally 1,000,001 different things they could do for that. But we'll have to see what they unlock. Now, the last thing, I know I said the last thing was the last thing, but the last thing on here is the camp pets. Now, it could literally be anything. When it comes to pets, there is millions of animals in the Fallout universe. There's mutated, non-mutated, there's so many different things. The biggest downside to the current system that we've got in place is that you can tame Deathclaws, you can tame Mirelurks, you can tame just about any hostile creature that's wandering around the wasteland that isn't a, I believe, cryptid or a overly large creature. Disadvantage of that is if you're like people walk into your camp, shoot the bugger in the face, it's dead, and you need to get another one. So there is definitely a downside to the current system. I'd assume camp pets will either be completely immortal, much like your camp companions and things like that, or it's going to be a case of it's just this cosmetic thing that wanders around. Whether they do anything, they defend your camp, they do all sorts of things. There'll be something to look forward to for definite, especially if we can get some of the cryptids involved. Have like a grafton monster just wandering around your camp, or the Flatwoods monster. That would be quite an interesting one for definite. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the roadmap for this year. Hopefully it continues as it's meant to, and we can actually see the content that they've put up, but that'll have to wait to see, won't it? So that was this week's happenings. There's a huge amount of information that you could potentially take from the roadmap. A lot of it is going to be conjecture. God knows if, you know, what I think is going to happen is going to happen, but we'll definitely see. And I'm hoping that we do get to see some pretty cool features, especially with a legendary crafting system. I hope they overhaul it completely and we can make pretty much anything. But that will literally have to take time to tell. So, if you're enjoying the kind of new content, and certainly enjoying the little news update that I've did today, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. The only way I'm going to know if you guys enjoy this is if you show me. So, we'll catch you all next time in the Wasteland.